Hello guys, I'm Riccardo, a software engineer in Milestone, and I'm here to show you how easy it is to connect Milestone XProtect, our VMS, with the API Gateway and interface with it. We're going to use some AI and the MIP SDK documentation to do so. And I'm going to show you how effortless this can be to generate an MVP, a minimum viable product, a first try. This is not going to be the Milestone development process. I'm going to show how I would do it as an external developer who's curious about the platform. We go to doc.developer.milestonecs.com and we can find the documentation. In there, you look for MIP VMS API. You go for the API docs. For example, we can choose the APIs for the configuration, or we can try other stuff as well. And once we pick the configuration ones, we again choose the RESTful APIs. In here, the introduction is going to tell us how to connect the VMS, and there's a lot of information. Now we can go straight to what we're interested in, the get started part. Here, it will tell us how to connect to the API, what endpoint to use to get a bearer token that will allow us to execute all of our requests to the server. Here you can see an example using curl. So what are we going to do? We're going to develop a .NET MAUI app, but this process is valid for other languages and other platforms as well. So we're going to create a new .NET project. And in here, once we create the new project, we obviously have to choose the right type, .NET MAUI app. We have to save the folder. Like I said, we already have a server that I made on my virtual machine, a VMS. You can go through that in the introduction guide. Once we set up the project, we have to pick a name and go through all of the required stuff from VS Code. Just a second. Obviously, this is an MVP. I want to remember it's not a complete product. It's just a test to try the API and learn how this works. It's a first attempt to study them and see what are the functionalities that are exposed through the APIs. We can run this project. This is an empty project created by the framework, and you can see that it doesn't do much actually at first. Let's give it some time to load. And once it starts, we can see how it doesn't do much in the beginning. Obviously, it's a MAUI app, so we have to choose to run it on Windows for now because we're running it there, because it's a cross-platform app. Let's give it some time. It's doing its magic and compiling. In the meanwhile, I can remind you that here we're going to try to do this development using AI and the documentation, but both are important, and you still have to go through the documentation thoroughly to completely understand how the API works. Here, once we get it started, it's loading. We can see how this app doesn't do anything more than just recording a click on a button. And now what we want to do is to ask the AI to connect this empty app to our server, be able to make REST requests and log in there. So we ask the AI to make these 2 pages up. Obviously, I pass in there the link to the documentation as well. And the AI is going to read our documentation and understand it for us. Like I said, it's a first glimpse at it. Obviously, then we have to understand completely what is going on, and that's why the documentation is there for us to use. But the AI can help us to use this documentation. We quickly fast forward through all the thinking process of the AI. It did a lot of stuff for us. It's so effortless. And once we see what it has done for us, we can run again the app and see the difference from before. Once it logs in, we have to connect to the server and authenticate there. Let's see. Just a few seconds. Here it is. Now we have the interface. We can put the URL of our server, our username, that randomly it happened to be subscribed to the channel. And once I write those, I have to obviously give the password as well and handle the certificates. And we will see that once you log in, already we have a page to execute REST API's code. And we can see that actually these have the bearer token as well with them. After a small failure, because I put the wrong URL, let me fix it. Just 1 second. We fix the URL. And now the request is working. So now that we have the requests are working, thanks to the bearer token, we can try to do something a bit more complex than just getting the sites. We can try to get the bookmarks, we can try to get the cameras, what we're really interested into, and we can edit stuff as well. These are still the basic connections, pretty basic interface, and doesn't know about any of the APIs. We're simply changing manually the stuff. But now what we can do is that we can again give the documentation to the AI, and that's to the AI specifically. I want to know about the bookmarks. I want to know about the cameras. And these are the links to the documentation. Please help me. And now we can see how fast forwarding through the thinking process of the AI, it's going to understand the documentation and write the code for us. This code is just the beginning. It's not a full app, but it gives us a structure that we can use. Let's see what it has done for us. Again, some time to run it. In the meanwhile, I can tell you that you have API endpoints for alarms, bookmarks, configurations, cameras, and many more. So don't forget to check the documentations. Obviously, it's easier for me because I already know the documentation and I can make targeted questions to the API that give us better responses. So again, we log in our easy light client, subscribe to the channel. I'm not going to read the password out loud. And let's see. Now we have a new page in there. We have a page where we can make bookmarks request. It designed a specific interface to match what are the things needed in the body of our post request. The AI understood that and did it for us. So now I can fix our body request, adding what we need. And oh, no reply. Maybe I made a mistake. I think I put the wrong, I put the wrong address again. Let me fix it in a second. Yeah, the cursor is a bit slow, sorry. So once we fix and we get the right URL, you can see that now we can search and get specific bookmarks in a specific time frame through a post request. And once we get an ID, for example, we can execute actions on a specific ID. Here you can see that actually we get the full JSON response. And here, once we insert the ID, we can execute actions on those. So we can get the data information through the get method, or we can edit informations. For example, here the name is fast bookmark for this bookmark. And we want to change the header, the name, to amazing APIs. We insert it, and then we run the patch method on that ID. And once we run it was successful, we got OK. So we can run the get method again to get information from the server, and you see that it has a new header. So it's completely working. It's completely interconnected with our VMS. We can get informations, change informations there, and in just a few minutes of work, thanks to the help of the documentation and the AI. Here you can see that if you want, you can keep using all of the other endpoints that are not already embedded in the page if you want more flexibility. And you see that everything just works because the login was implemented correctly with the bearer token. Again, I want to stress and remind that these kind of applications are not perfect. Actually, I skipped on some work that I had to do to improve the UI and fix a few things. AI is not perfect, cannot do everything, but it can help us a lot. And in just a few minutes, we got the REST client up and running. So what I want to remind you is to check the documentation, study thoroughly, but for a quick first understanding, AI can help you a lot, especially to get you up and running. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope it was helpful for you.